Ch ch ch. We are back. Episode 10. We got another consent from a girl. Let's see. I went a year without social media as a Gen Z millennial. Okay, so I assume she's between like around 25. I did social media for a year and changed my life, and that was a year ago, so this will be 2 years. I am gonna check maybe later, but this video is kind of long because it's a half hour long. Probably gonna check later. Um, if she has more videos, a more updated video, but I assume a confident approach, right? She already found herself and know what she needed to do in her spare time when she felt lonely or those kinds of stuff. So let's see, right? Let's see what happened.
Going to be doing with this information. It's just this unnecessary access that you're granting to people on a daily basis. For what reason? Hey Pixies, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kia, your favorite, and I'm back with another video. So as we can see by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about the 1 year, the 365 days I spent without social media as a Gen Z millennial. I kind of feel like this video is like a long awaited or somewhat anticipated because I did take such a long break from social media and nobody really knew where I was or what was going on with me. And so I do just want to say, like, this video in no way is meant to like demonize or bash social media or like tell you that you should or should not participate in social media. It's just more of me sharing my experience, why I decided to leave social media, like what was I doing and what did I learn in the process. So if you're interested in understanding my journey and my life offline, just please stay tuned.
Already a good approach. She set the stage like, hey, I'm just gonna talk about it, but I'm not gonna try and convince you I am the example because that's what people listen to. And people listen to examples. If they see a confident person that can live without social media, then it gets way more attractive. Then maybe people think, well, maybe I can do it too.
So pretty much it all started after my birthday in 2020. My birthday is October 12th, and I think those are probably the last pictures that are even posted on my Instagram to this day. So by the end of October, I was just done with social media. I was off. I wasn't posting, and that doesn't mean like I just wasn't posting on my feed. Like I literally was not active on Instagram, no story posts, anything like that. And I also kind of took a hiatus from YouTube as well. So as we know, 2020 was a whirlwind. It was like such a year. There was a lot going on, and because everyone was, you know, like isolated, quarantined, that situation, social media really became like everyone's hub, everyone's outlet. There was just so much going on social media, so many political things. It was everyone's outlet. I feel like people were spending, you know, unprecedented amounts of time on social media just because we were disconnected in our real world and we could not resume life as we knew it. So naturally, like, you know, TikTok came out and, you know, that was on the rise and everyone's face was just kind of glued to the screen. I've always had an interesting relationship with social media anyways, because growing up I was not allowed to have any social media accounts. My parents would not like allow me to get on Facebook or create any of the other social media accounts that you know, people my age were engaging in. I remember like
So, congrats to the parents that actually realize, like, hey, you should have a healthy manner. You should limit your access to this stuff. Um, they already knew. They probably use Facebook maybe, but they're just living their lives, right? So stable household in that sense. I'm not saying like the parents are divorced or together. Like that's not about it. Like the stable opinions. Um, that really helped her along the way. But the con is that you get left out. You can be the black sheep. You can be bullied, but you can already see this is a decently strong person, so that wouldn't happen.
Like growing up in high school and stuff, when Twitter became a thing, people would literally like leave home and come back to school, and there would be like these beefs and like stuff that was going on. And I'm just like, but we just left and everything was fine. Like, when did this happen and how does everybody know about it? Because I'm thinking like the phone chain doesn't spread that quickly. It's like, how does the whole school know about this drama between two people? What was said, what happened, blah blah blah. It's because, like, Twitter, everyone's following everyone, and you can tweet each other and you can just see like the whole timeline of what's going on. Like, I was not privy to any of that, like any of that information. I was just kind of like out of the loop, so it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, whatever. So
As you can see, the ignorance is bliss here, because it saves her a lot of drama and things that she's not necessarily interested to. So
my senior year, like right when it was time for me to graduate, my friends, they created my social media accounts for me. They're like, Kia, you cannot just not be on social media anymore. So they made me like Instagram, Snapchat, like all those things. So I started to like loosely use
when you hang around with the wrong crowd, right? Like I get it, because as a Gen Z and even as a millennial, they were like, it's a non-negotiable. So if you are the black sheep and they really like you, they will convince you. And this is what I mean by robbed by osmosis. You are what you hang around with, because as everyone's using social media and you're not, then it's very likely you're going to eventually, especially when you weren't that hooked. You didn't know what it was about. You were just living your life. Like good for you, right? Oh, I I'm curious what what will happen. So this is a really interesting one.
social media, but I was never like dedicated to it or super active on it. When I was in college, I would just post pictures like whenever I would go out, and I would get a decent amount of like likes and follows, but I was never really just super into social media. So fast forward to 2017, when I was graduating college. That's when I started my YouTube channel, and then I started to take my social media a little bit more seriously. So I started trying to actually grow my following, my YouTube, my Instagram account, and everything. And I think I probably got up to 4,000 or like almost 4,000 subscribers. Followers on Instagram.
So there you have it, guys. He is kind of on the other side. She was strong from the beginning, and they tried to convince her, but instead she realized, well, maybe I should use this as a product. But what the problem is if you are using it to be an influencer, you're still gonna check the likes, the views, the subscriber count, those kinds of stuff. So you still get hooked in some way. So that's why the best case scenario is actually have someone to manage it for you, so you will stay limited to. The limited access here would be the solution if you use it business wise.
At one point, but then I did delete my Instagram and start over. So I believe I've deleted my Instagram and started over 2 times, and that's just because I would have like very interesting experiences with people feeling like they were like watching me or like keeping tabs on me, or just kind of like trying to see what I'm doing and imitating me, like and mostly the people that I grew up with. So my solution to that is just like, I'm gonna delete it, start over. Whoever wants to follow me will follow me. I'm not gonna make a thing of like unfollowing everybody and stuff like that, because like I don't want the drama or people thinking like, why does she unfollow me? So a few times I have started my Instagram over, and I kind of feel like this started with me, where I noticed people kind of like trying to take an interest in me, know what I'm doing, keep tabs on me, whatever you want to call it, is when I graduated from college. So I graduated from college in like 2 years and 8 months. I graduated very early. I never told anyone that I was graduating early. When the time came for my graduation day, I just posted my pictures like, I graduated, I have my degree, it's over. And so my Instagram started going crazy. People are like in my DMs commenting like, well, how did you do that? What's going on? How is it that you're graduating? Because it's like, well, girl, we all just graduated together, and now you're graduating ahead of us, and none of us saw this coming. What is going on? Because, you know, on social media, people keep up with each other. People give people like a play-by-play of, you know, what's going on and in their lives, and I just wasn't doing that. So I think that kind of started this thing with people with me of trying to like know what I'm doing, and I'm just like, honestly, I'm just living my life. So then I moved to Atlanta also, and that added another layer to it. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I always kind of felt like, you know, some of the people that I encountered or knew or grew up with, they will always be wondering like, well, who is that? Where are you? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. Like always hitting me up, asking me like, oh, where do I go? I'm in town, and like just, you know, that kind of thing. But then like if I would like tell them or like interact with them or whatever information it was that they were requesting from me, and I would give it to them, I always had this weird slighted feeling like they wouldn't, you know, say thank you or kind of like return the favor, or just like, I don't know, like just weird things would happen to me where it was just kind of like, not a good, you know, feeling. I'm not really feeling this. So I've always kind of had like
So you can see she is naturally a strong person, and she don't mess around. She already has her boundaries in check because she already developed them before she got hooked into these apps that her friends made for her. So that's why it's way easier for her as a Gen Z millennial compared to the other Gen Zs and millennials.
a one foot in, one foot out kind of vibe with social media, like Instagram especially. Now YouTube is different.
Now, when I said like the boundaries, I also mean she knows her standards, she knows what kind of respect she deserves, she's respecting herself, she knows who she is, she knows what her needs are. Naturally, she already has those things. Way easier to actually get rid of these apps.
I do love my YouTube channel. I feel like YouTube is more of a support system, and like people genuinely like you. They want to like, you know, check in on you, know about your life, how you're doing, that kind of thing, because YouTube is more of a time investment than just like Instagram. People are just so used to having access to you, and when you kind of deny that access, or when you kind of keep certain things about yourself to yourself, some people go through different lengths to try to like find out information, or like, you know, pry, or just wanting to know what you're doing, because I think social media naturally just encourages people to compare themselves, compete with each other, that kind of thing. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. It just is what it is, but it's just something that I'm cognizant of, and at times I feel like you do need to be, you know, watchful of and kind of protect yourself from in certain situations. So with all that being said,
I'm not sure if she's talking about stalking here or people be like, I'm gonna keep up with the conditions like on Kaya, right? Kia, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. Mm, all right, let's continue. I like this.
said, when 2020 came around, there was just a lot going on. I saw a lot of things on social media that did not resonate with me. I saw a lot of people trying to do things and say things and be things that they were not. There was like a lot of political divisiveness, just like with, you know, everything that was going on with there. Don't want to too much get into that. So I feel like it became to be more of just an information overload, right? And I just something within me just was like, you need to just kind of get off of here. You need to take a step back. Like, all of this stuff is going on, but like, literally, what does this have to do with you? Like, who are you as a person? What are you doing with yourself at this time? Like, what's going on? And that's just kind of where my mind took me, and how I decided to make the decision to kind of just get off of social media.
And that's the fun part. She's using social media. She already knew who she is. She already is confident. She already has those things. But when the pandemic hit, she would be like, um, I'm kind of getting, you know, not necessarily insecure, but I don't know what's going on, and I don't feel great by it. It's actually making me sad, and these opinions don't belong to me. She couldn't hear herself anymore. So then it's kind of like at that point you're kind of losing yourself, you're questioning yourself, right? But she already has them in check, right? She already know who she is, and as soon as like hope that I would hear as soon as she deleted it, that she instantly found herself back within a couple of months.
What I started to realize with social media is just that I was making a habit of paying attention to things and to people that did not matter, and paying attention to things that had nothing to do with me. So I feel like when I say an information overload, social media is kind of like too much information. Think about how many times a day when you're on social media and people are sending you things, or you're scrolling and you see something, or you come across some information that you didn't ask for. It's not really useful for you. You don't really need it, but you have this information. You just have so much information, so much knowledge of things that, don't necessarily, feed you. They don't have anything to do with anything. They're just a bunch of little distractions. And again, participating in social media is not a problem or an issue. Like, I'm not saying that you have to be like highly productive, on go, always doing things, always being like, all deep and reflective and stuff like that. However, you do want to take accountability for what you're experiencing in life, and social media makes that a little bit difficult. And so then, because I can't control everyone else, I can only control myself and separate myself from it. I had to look at myself too and say, like, well, you're doing the same thing. Like, you're offering up information about yourself that nobody needs to know. What are they going to be doing with this information? It's just this unnecessary access that you're granting to people on a daily basis. For what reason? Like, it kind of all started when I was analyzing, like, why do I post on my story? Like, so I get up, I post a selfie on my story, and it's like, oh, she wore makeup today, oh, she's looking cute, or oh, she didn't wear makeup today, like, she's got clear skin, or oh, she went to Starbucks, or you post a meme on your story that you thought was funny, and then everybody else sees it and they know that you think that's funny, and it's just like, okay, like, for what? It's like we're all taking on this random responsibility to kind of like entertain ourselves and like entertain the people around us, and like, constantly tasking ourselves with having to like have a story or like tell a story. And for what? Like, sometimes you just want to exist, sometimes you just want to be, sometimes you just want to live in the moment. So that brings me to what was happening when I was offline. When I wasn't on social media, I was doing exactly that. So for me, it kind of just all comes down to the fact that I just felt like it was time for me to grow up. I was going through like just one of those phases that a lot of people go through, where you have different turning points in your life, where you start to analyze yourself and you start to think differently. You start to think about your relationships, you start to think about who you are, you start to think about who you want to be. Like, are you ever going to be the person that you want to be? Where do you want to go, and how are you going to get there? How are you being intentional about that? Like, is your life where you want it to be? And if not, how are you going to get it there? So those are just the conversations that I was having with myself, and I was just
So why could she immediately jump to that point while some other people first had to deal with the social circle, deal with the loneliness, deal with filling the void, what they're gonna do with their time? She could immediately jump because she already has her foundation in check. She already know kind of know who she is, um, what her needs are, what her boundaries are, what kind of respect she deserves. Naturally very strong. So she already skipped 1 year. So if you would say she deleted social media for 2 years now, she is already on the 3 year mark. She is ahead. Just like she said she is ahead with university, like graduating early. She is early. She's the early bird get in a worm kind of girl.
Just being like very reflective. It was a lot of reflection and self-work for me at the time, as well, because I just realized that I had a lot of personality flaws, just things within myself that I needed to like work out. And from the outside looking in, people might think like, oh, she went to school, she graduated early, she graduated with honors, she has her, stuff together, or oh, she doesn't seem like, a bad person, or nothing really necessarily strikes me as, whatever about her. So it wasn't necessarily anything like bad that had happened or was happening to me. It was just really like internally speaking, for the standards that I have for myself, it was just a personal growth moment. And I decided to take that offline and do it within myself, and just really be reflective about, what was going on in the world. Like, how do I want to portray myself? Like, how do I want to participate in the world around me? And social media is one way that you can participate, but that's not the only way. So I was going out like more, like going on like, dates and stuff by myself, just meeting, different people. I was still, getting up, exercising, like eating healthy, like not drinking alcohol. Like I was taking my health and everything really, seriously. I was just kind of doing me. Like honestly, that's really what it was. Like I was doing me. I was asking myself the hard questions about why do I do the things that I do? Why am I the way that I am? And just giving myself the opportunity to just kind of reflect and grow and start being, intentional about who I am. So I'm not saying that I wasn't intentional about who I was before. I definitely was, and I feel like I've always done a pretty good job of kind of like keeping things to myself, or like moving in silence, or like not oversharing. But then there were areas that I identified that this is a complete like overshare, no one needs to know this about me, like and that's why I'm refilming this video. Like I said before, my other video, I didn't really want to like talk about this or like really share my opinion, because I'm kind of past the point of like sharing my opinion, because
So there you have it, guys. Once you hit a certain time on not using social media, you don't care about sharing that much. Like you, she's already confident. Like I don't need to share. If I share it, I share it, and if I don't, then I don't. That's it.
my opinion is my own, and that's fine. It can just be that. Of course, I will, share my opinion with the people that care about me and who want to relate to me in that kind of way. But I'm kind of done with, trying to be like outspoken or opinionated, or sharing my thoughts and perspectives with people who would be committed to misunderstanding me and, like twisting my words or not seeing my perspective. Like that just doesn't, fuel me anymore. I feel like, when I was younger, I used to be the kind of person to say like, oh, well, this is my opinion, it's going to be unpopular, it's going to start a conversation, blah, blah, blah. And, that's cool. But for me now, it's like, I really don't care to see the negativity. I really don't care to see the drama. That's not to say that I don't stand on, my feelings and my opinions. It is what it is. It's still, I don't care what you really think about my opinion. But then it's like, I'm not going to openly share that or like give fuel to a situation unnecessarily, that I'm not going to start.
So what I'm curious about, if there are actually people, if she actually gonna mention it because she cares enough, that lashed out onto her like, hey, you cannot tell that you don't care. You should have an opinion, right? Because she's already confident enough not doing it, but I'm curious if she would share if that experience happened to her. Because when you are doing it too fast and you're moving too fast, people kind of, I don't want to say kind of get jealous, but they kind of lash onto it. Like, hey, you cannot do that. Know your standards, know your ground. You should behave like this, you should behave like that. And that's what the social media does to you, right? They tell you what to do, but that's not you. So she's already at the stage, really confident. I'm just enjoying this.
Are something that invites people to be essentially disgruntled because of me. Like, I'm not going to add fuel to the fire because I just don't care to do that anymore. One example of that was, you know, I had started dating and stuff like that, and so naturally you guys wanted to like hear about it, hear about my experiences, hear about my opinions, and you know, different things like that. Simultaneously, I was getting introduced to like the dating side, the coaching, the advice part of YouTube. I had no idea that that was even like a genre.
So in Facebook groups and on YouTube, you have these genres, like feminist waves or pick me girls or those kinds of content that tell you what to do, what to behave, what to think, and how you should date, what kind of advice you should follow. It's the same with men. Like you have the Jordan Peterson, you have the Fresh and Fit podcast. I'm not saying they're necessarily wrong, but they don't necessarily correlate or apply onto your life. It's very rare that everything applies specifically on your life. So let's continue.
So I felt that people were trying to kind of put me in that category, like, but I kind of had to pull back from that because I'm just saying what I think and saying my opinion. And it's like, don't put me in the category of, you know, being your dating coach, or I can't tell you what to do or what not to do or what you should or shouldn't be doing. Like, that's up to you. Like, that's not who I want to be. That's not where I want to sit on YouTube. Like, that's just not my thing. So I kind of had to like pull back from that because I felt like that was a, you know, controversial thing as well, where the drama was surrounding too. And one thing that I just been trying to practice is just like really focusing in and just more like embodying the things that I'm learning. So the things that I learned that I feel like are valuable or life-changing or whatever it is to me, it's like now I keep it to myself. When I was younger, I'd be like, oh, I learned this, so I need to tell my friend, I need to tell my mom, I need to tell somebody. Like, I need to tell somebody so that they can do it too, because this is the new way, this is the best way, like whatever the case is. And then sometimes I would come and tell y'all because it's just like, I gotta tell somebody. But I found that I was exerting more energy, and if I would just conserve that, keep it to myself, just like practice what it is that, you know, I'm preaching, then I would make strides even quicker.
So she's talking about when you're just being an example, it's gonna rub on other people that actually are following you, like seeing you, and like, all right, this girl is going places. So that's a good thing. And also, what happens when you start to assert and advise people, they can less out on you. They can be offensive, you know. Actually, they can, in fact, they can do the opposite for everything you stand for. They're gonna hang around the people that do not like you. So you should be really careful with that when you try and teach pigs to fly. And also, like inwards, right? Inwards, you want to not to push on strings, you want to pull on strings, and that's what she's talking about. She's practicing what she's preaching, pulling on the string, not pushing.
Like, my growth would be even more exponential when I would just like keep things to myself and just like apply it and like grow instead of like trying to share it with other people. And I was just like, wow. So a lot of you have commented and said like, oh, you know, you seem like you've matured, like you've really grown up, or like you've blossomed. And yeah, like, thank you for saying that. That was the point. And just reaching a new level of myself is what I feel like, you know, I was doing and what I continue to do. I was really on like, you know, a journey, an inner work journey, a spiritual growth journey, just like an embodiment journey of, becoming that girl, some people might say it, like becoming the, woman that I know that I'm supposed to be. Because a lot of us in our minds, we have the image and the understanding of who we should be, who we want to be, who we're supposed to be, but we just don't give ourselves the permission to do so, or we don't think we're, worthy enough to do that or achieve that, or, there are things that we're doing that we're not being honest with ourselves that like kind of stunt our growth and like, keep us held back from certain things. And those are all of the things that I was just like letting come out and let come to the surface. And honestly, just going to different places, like changing up my crowd. Like it was just so much that I did in the past year, and I couldn't be like more happier. Like I really do love my life. Like now at this point, like I love myself, my life, and the person that I am, and like the person that I'm, becoming. And it's not to say that I didn't love myself before, but it's like I love myself even more because I see my progress, and I see like how I've changed, just like my attitude, how I respond, how I react to certain things. Like the things that, like I said, used to feed me or fuel me, or I used to be interested in, it's just kind of like I really don't like care about these things anymore. And so for me, that's growth. Would there be times like when I wasn't on social media, and it's like, how do you keep up with the happenings and the goings ons and the new trends and the stuff that people are saying? And like, some of my friends would be like, oh, I forgot you're not on Instagram, or you're not on TikTok, or I can't send you this, I can't send you that.
There will always be people around you to be like stinging you, like, oh yeah, I cannot send you a picture. Oh yeah, like just letting you know, like they do not appreciate it because they think you should be on their standard, but you're already way behind. She's like already on a confident level, so she'll be like, whatever, girl.
Blah 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 blah. And it's just like that would be kind of, annoying. Or like if I would go out with my friends, because I was still going out with my friends, I was still having fun, I was still, dressing up, looking cute every day. Like anybody who knows me knows like I pretty much look like, this every day, because I just want to get up and I want to, get cute and stuff. None of that changed. I just wasn't posting it. It's just like, just because people don't see where you're going or the progress you're making, that doesn't mean that you're not making the progress. Like I kind of excuse myself from having to prove my life and having to prove that, I matter, or I'm here, or I exist, or I have value to the outside world. Like I didn't have to give them that narrative or that storyline, or have to constantly show my face to let them know that I was doing well, I was doing okay, I was looking good, I was lit, I was going out, I was being healthy. You know what I mean? Like I was just doing those things and then living my life. And it just brought me so much, peace to not even feel like I had to, post a picture, or I had to do this, or I had to do that, or whatever the case was, or I had to capture the moment, or I had to make sure people knew where I was at and that what I was doing, and I had a fun and exciting day. Like just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it's not happening. And so I just like the idea of just keeping like my little juicy life to myself. And like I just have so many not even secrets, but like, yeah, just kind of secrets, or like just things that I know that are happening for me, or like
When you don't use social media anymore, you kind of become the mysterious person in the environment. So that's what she is talking about, and good for her. The glow up is real, and yeah, this girl, I'm really telling you guys, she's the girl strong. She's the early worm, So yeah, a lot of potential. This is the girl that you actually want to meet. That you when you are 19 and 20, you already see the potential as a guy. That's what These are the kind of girls you're gonna commit to, because this girl is gonna tell you, if you don't finish your university, I ain't gonna date you no more. We're gonna break up. This is the girl we kind of wanna vouch to, right? If you're really serious about, marrying and those kinds of stuff, and you kind of like her as a personality, like this is the kind of girl you want to vouch to, because she is feminine, She knows her standards, she knows her boundaries, she's confident, but she's not necessarily like owning you. She's just being her, like telling you up front, or not even telling you. It depends on her, right? So great, great stuff to hear.
Things that I know that I'm doing or that I'm enjoying, and it's just all the more juicy and exciting because it's just all for me, you know what I mean? It's just like I'm just so like greedy with myself, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like eat it up, eat it up, eat it up, because I don't have to share. Like the whole concept of social media and all that kind of stuff is sharing, and it's like I don't necessarily want to share with you because then there might be like a little bit less for me, or I just feel like I want it and you can't. Like, I'm sorry. Even as like a kid, I've naturally just had like a lot of hobbies, a lot of interests, things that I do to like keep myself busy.
So there you have it, guys. She is naturally, I told you, she skipped the hobby process, the lonely process, and even she kind of skipped the foundation of the four pillars, like self-respect, needs, and boundaries, standards, because she already has them established. So she, again, she says she's 2 years off now. She already has a plus 8 months, just because the first 8 months she already had that foundation. So great stuff.
Whether it's like cooking or I'm like really crafty. I have like a lot of different crafty hobbies, and I like to watch documentaries and read and stuff like that. So I'm
So also a lot of variety. When I'm talking about you need to experience a lot in when you are off of social media, like which I call the test hypothesis, the example that they give in sports, you need to try a lot of this for sports. Not only she tries all different kinds of sports, but she also has different kinds of crafts. She has watch different kinds of documentary. Like she would just, entertain herself, right? She would be, you know, she doesn't necessarily need external factors to not be satisfied.
not trying to make it just seem like, oh my gosh, I was just like fasting and reading and da, da, da. But it's just like, yeah, I was, and it was just, fun for me. Not having to be in everybody's business, like not having to know what the latest celebrity tea or drama or whatever the case was. Like it was actually very it was just air freshening. It was very air freshening for me. Like the air was just fresher because I felt like I just was not bombarded with information that was not serving me, and like things that I didn't need to know about, you know? So when my birthday came back around this year, I did get back on Instagram. I was posting on my story for probably like 2 weeks. So I'm back off Instagram again, like literally on November 1st. I was like, okay, I'm cool. Like I'm done with this because I'm just so used to like not having Instagram, not being on social media. Honestly, nothing has really changed. Everything seems pretty much the same. Like, yeah, the only thing I will say about social media is like, people are funny on there. Like, yeah, they're funny. Like that's the one thing. But then also too, like just based on, algorithms and like the people that you follow, you see the content that they're seeing and then they suggest it and recommend it to you and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, I don't have control of that. And so sometimes I don't know, like take inventory of your feed or the things that you're seeing or that are coming up for you on your Instagram, and it's like it'll tell you a lot about the people who you're following or the people that are following you. Because a lot of stuff I'll be like, I don't even like this, I don't want to see this doesn't resonate with me, like this is very annoying, but this is what the people that you're following or the people that follow you, however it works, this is what they're consuming, therefore it's going to come into your field of awareness. And it's just like, I didn't want to be aware of this. I really did not need to be aware of any of this. So basically it was just kind of like,
Ignorance is bliss, guys. You don't need to know the things. You're not missing out. I talked this in my video about being a globalist and a localist. You should be aware locally, but you don't necessarily need to be aware globally. Even though the world is more interconnected than ever, it doesn't mean you have to participate in everything, because that's the information overload. Uh, you get the roller coaster effect, which was one of the biases when you follow those things, and then you will be depleted for the things that you actually needed to do. So great stuff.
Like a taking control, growing up, self growth, accountability, just learning to detach, just freeing myself of this, random responsibility to, tell my story, prove myself, prove my life, whatever the case is, and then just giving myself the opportunity to just say I really don't care. It's really a conversation starter when I tell people like, oh, I'm not on Instagram, and it's just like, oh, why, and this and that. Like, some people actually think I'm weird. Like, some people really think it's something wrong with me, or like, why wouldn't you? Like, I've actually had certain people like they didn't want to talk to me no more because they couldn't like stalk me on Instagram, which is like, to each his own. I get it.
So why is that? Because people not only have their own timelines, but it's their way of live. It's their way of living. They cannot. Their habits on the social media are so strong that they won't even notice when you're gone until you say it, and they can only respond in these apps. If you actually would text them with a different kinds of app, they won't mentally register. Even though they've seen it, they won't mentally register that you actually sent um, a message because they can't. They just can't. It's like these are the people that open the phone, click on Instagram, click on Facebook, click on Snapchat, click on TikTok, close the phone, didn't even check the time because that was the goal. Even though nothing has happened.
It like social media is a big part of our lives, so it's like, girl, like, if you're not on social media, are you really living life? Like, I get it, but trust and believe me, like, there is a whole world out there, and it does not start and end with social media. But then again, there is nothing wrong. Sorry y'all, my camera. But anyways, basically what I'm trying to say is like, it's really fun when you kind of are not on social media, because then it's like, you get to just experience your life in like real time without having to think about like this other world and like all these other people that you have to keep track of and that are keeping track of you. And like, you can just kind of like, blend in a way to like your environment and surroundings. But then at the same time, it's like, you guys, I just had my sister's wedding, and one of my subscribers was there. She was one of my sister's husband's guests, I think. And she's like, oh, like, it's just funny because you really act the way you act, like in real life, like how you act on YouTube. It's just like, yes, like, I'm actually funny, like, I'm actually like charismatic. Like, I know it's a thing, a lot of YouTubers are extroverts or introverts. I've never been an introvert. I am outgoing, like, I have a personality, and if you ever see me and I'm just kind of chilling, laid back, it's probably because I'm just being a little brat, and I'm probably just like not trying to, show you my personality because I don't like what's going on in the environment, or the vibe is just not where I want it to be. So I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'm just gonna act a little bougie or smug or whatever you want to call it. Not bougie.
So, like maybe 10 minutes ago, she was talking about she is naturally actually liking to put on makeup and to look good. But there are many influencers out there that just only do it for the camera, right? So, um, people that are actually following influencers that always look good and they feel like these girls don't feel the need to always put makeup on. The people that follow this influencer that don't feel that they should put the makeup on always, and I find it tiring because it is. But there are some people like Kia. She naturally glows up. She likes to do this stuff every day, or consistently, I should say. Probably not like every day for 365 days, but maybe most of those days she would, because that's, you know, or how she is. It's easy for her to do. It's an ingrained, easy habit for her to do.
but you know what I mean, like sometimes you just be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna just turn it down because of this moment. But no, like literally I go outside every day in my life, and I go outside every day in my life, and like, you know, people compliment me, they tell me, you know, I'm pretty, they start conversations with me, they say like, oh, you're interesting, you're fun, like all those kinds of things. So it's like, I'm not saying it's anything wrong with getting validation from social media. Like definitely you should get the validation from where you can get it from, because everyone needs validation. That's a part of our like human nature and everything. But I get validation in real life actually. So it's like I'm not overly dependent on social media to say like, oh, that's a cute outfit, or that's a cute look, or that's a cute hair, or that's a cute makeup, blah 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 blah, or oh, you got your nails done. Like that doesn't mean any of these things are not happening. They're all happening, but I just get to enjoy it with myself. I get to enjoy it with the people around me. And like if you catch me outside, if you see me in person, then you just know like, oh, like she's real, she keeps it juicy. That's Kia right there, and we're living for it, we're enjoying it. So that's really just all it was and all it's been. I feel like this video is like really long and rambly. I hope like I came across the way that I wanted to come across, and you guys just kind of understand like where I'm coming from, and what the reason was that I took a break off social media. I am like back on YouTube because again, yes, I do like love YouTube, OMG. So I don't know, let me just know what other kind of like videos you all want to see. Like we can do like, you know, some different topics and stuff, but like again, that is one of the things that I was working on, is just like not having to have a comment, or not having to share an opinion, or not having to always, you know, say something about something. Like I feel like these days everyone feels like they have to speak on things, they have to have an opinion, they have to be an advocate, or you know, they have to stand. Like I don't have to do that, and I'm not going to. Like I can just keep it neutral. I can just enjoy, you know, people's conversations, their personalities, like the moments with the different people that I encounter as I move through life. And I don't have to like formulate this whole other, you know, persona that I have to essentially tie myself to on the internet, just because that's what everybody is doing. When I feel like getting on Instagram or whatever it is, I can, and when I don't want to, I'm perfectly fine and content and valuing the things that I have placed in my life, the people that I've placed in my life, and the way that I have it structured, so that I am living my fullest and best life and just enjoying myself, while not feeling the pressure to have to know what's going on all the time, or let people know that I am at a certain level achieving certain things, or you know, that I'm at a certain lifestyle, whatever the case is. So thank you all so much, so much for tuning into this video. Please comment down below, have you ever taken a break off social media? Have you ever wanted to take a break off social media? What was your reason, or what's the reason why you haven't? Let me know down below what you all think. Thank you so much, so much for tuning to this video. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel. Since you're here, I'm pretty cool. Like we can just all be cool and fun and all that kind of stuff. And I will catch you all in
Clear story. Confident, naturally strong. Already had her pillars in set. Um, she's grown as a woman. Uh, just a great example for you guys, how it could be, right? Um, yeah, I just have nothing to say. She actually explained everything what is important. So she's going places. She will make it. She is enjoying herself. It's all good. Now I am going to check if there's an previous
taking a break off.
video. Because this was a year ago. So let's see if I can find something that is longer than a year ago, like 2 years ago. year ago, 4 years ago, year ago. That is actually the first one. Yeah, I think she made a follow-up on advising. Hard to find, but I think I saw it here. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch that one because it is very clear. You guys can watch it if you want to. She's probably solid in her tips. Um, I'm confident that she is. And look at the pose, like look at the frame that I just created. She's such a great person. All right, that is it for the video because the video is kind of getting long. I see it's like 50 minutes already. So stay strong and hopefully you guys would look forward to my other episodes. Make sure you check other ones so you see different perspective. You are not alone in this journey. So this is me commenting on it and telling you what's happening, and hopefully you guys see the trends, right? They come from different lives and perspective. The one has it easier than the other, but they still go to the waves. All right, take care, guys.